Hello and welcome. Thank you for popping into my channel. If you are new here, please like and subscribe for me. If you find this content helpful, smash that notification bell so that you don't miss out on the next video. Comment below with anything that you need help with or topics you'd like me to cover, and check out my website, consultingninja.tech. With that out of the way, let's get to it. We're going to have some fun with SvelteKit forms. I've done some videos on some very specific pieces of forms, but I want to make sure to cover both requests that come in and also some other functionality that I've not covered for SvelteKit. Forms are very important. This is how we interact with our users primarily in our applications, and so we want to make sure that we have a really good handle on how to use these. I have a really basic application here. It just has a form with a few fields. You can enter in some information, and then we're doing a little bit of checking, conditional checking in the plus page.svelte. So I can go ahead and enter in some values here and hit submit, and it just spits back the values that we send it, as well as some additional pieces of information, the type of response that we got. There's a Boolean value here, and I'll show you that in just a minute. But you want to pay attention that what's happening when I click submit is the parameter / act is triggering. It's a full page reload happening, and that is because that's what happens when you submit a form. So let's take a look in the plus page.server.js. I've had some requests come in to go over the types that exist in SvelteKit for form actions, and I want to make sure that we cover those because they are important. So looking at the plus page.server.js, I have one named action in this file. It's called act. I'm also making use of the fail method that SvelteKit provides. This is a really easy way of handling form actions, handling the error states anyway. So if you're not familiar, let's just walk through this. Again, this is not including any types just yet, but we will get to those in just a minute. I want to start with what it looks like without them, and then we'll kind of layer them in one piece at a time so that everybody understands what's going on. So here I have one action. It's called act. It's an asynchronous function. If you're not familiar with what this is a super easy way of getting your form data out of the request in SvelteKit. You just do a request.formData, and then any inputs that you have in your form, you can just do a data.get and then put the name of the input in there, and you can get that value out. Super easy. You'll notice that this is a TypeScript application, and so I'm getting the type value here. The first name is not a string, it's of type form data entry value. So keep that in mind. That's going to be important in just a minute. I'm taking those pieces of information out, and then I'm creating an object with them. And then here we're just doing two checks. If the age is equal to old AF, then we're going to return a fail and set this Boolean value of too old to true. If the first name is equal to Dave, and just throwing this out there, I don't have any problems with the name Dave. I just needed something, and so I put that in there. There's nothing going on there. I don't have any ill feelings towards any Daves if there's any Daves watching this. If either of those things are true, we're returning a fail, which is a method that takes a status code and a piece of data that you're sending back. Otherwise, we're going to return this object. Okay, so let's start layering in some types. The very first thing that we need to do, let's go ahead and create a type for this object that we're creating. Since that's our own object, let's make a type for it. So you can do interface or type. It doesn't really matter these days. I'm just going to call this my data. And we're going to need one for each of these things. So let's go ahead and we can just copy paste and do it like this. So we're going to have too old is a Boolean. A type is going to be a string. The first name is going to be a string. We'll see if you guys are paying attention. this is going to be a string because those are what people are typing in, right? And then age is going to be a string or a number because we have the age ranges are numbers, and then we also have a string value of old AF. So that would make sense, right? So let's go ahead and put that type on our MyData. And what you'll see here is it's yelling at us because first name, last name, and age are not of type string, and this is not of type string or number. Those are actually typed already. Those are form data entry values coming from SvelteKit. So inside of any objects that you're creating off of those pieces of data, if without doing an explicit conversion, you can just call these form data entry values. Just like that. And there, those red squiggles go away. So that is the first little thing. The other thing is we need to import some types. So we have to say import types. Even though these are coming from actually this same location as the function, we have to be specific in what it is we're importing. And so we're going to import types, and the types that we're going to import are actions, request event, and action failure. And we're going to import those, and this actually should be capital A. We're going to import those from, like I said, the same spot, so we can just copy and paste this. Import, that's not an S. It should be import type from. So let's start layering in the types that are available. So the very first one that's available is actions. And what this applies to is our actions here. So what this is of type actions. Whoops. Export const actions equal to all of the actions that we have in our application, and the type actions is the shape of that export. So that's the very first thing that we want to make use of. The other thing that we have that we want to make use of, or you may want to make use of, is the request event. So one of the things that an action has access to is the request event that's coming in, and you can see that it's actually seeing it there, but we can put the type explicitly just like that. So put the colon just after the destructuring there, and then put your request event in there. So that's super helpful, but let's keep going. What are we returning from this? Well, we have a few choices. First of all, this is a promise that we're returning. So you could return a promise any, just like that, and say we're returning a promise and any data type is on the table, we don't really care what. But since we have a data type defined and that's what we're going to be returning, whether it's a success or failure, then we can say, well, we don't want this, we want this to be more specific. So what we're going to return here is my data. And right away you'll see that we're getting some red squiggles, and we're getting them in a few places. This fail object is not of type MyData. So that's the first problem. And the next problem is that this little object doesn't meet the criteria. So since we're putting this default success object together, we can get rid of this and solve this problem by just returning that constant that is of type MyData. And that one will go away. But what about these ones? Well, that also is pretty straightforward. SvelteKit has a action failure type that we can make use of inside of our promise. So we're going to return a promise whose unwrapped type is either going to be directly this MyData type, or, and we can come in here and just put the or, it's going to be an action failure. But you need to give this a little bit more information. And in order to do that, you just, again, put an extra pair of alligator teeth in there and say MyData. So it's going to be an action failure that returns MyData. Makes sense, right? But why is it giving us squiggles? Well, this is some TypeScript stuff, and what it's saying is index signature for type string is missing on our interface. What does that mean? Basically what it means is that our interface needs a way of allowing for additional key values. And we can do that really easily by just adding one more to our interface, and it's going to be a bracket, key of type string, and a value of any. And now we can come up and see that red squiggle goes away. We have no red squiggles in our application, in our plus page.server.js file anymore, and we have everything typed out. We have our actions typed out. We have our request typed out. We have our return type for our action typed out in a promise, whose unwrapped value is either going to be my data directly, or it's going to be an action failure whose object type that we're returning is of type my data. So that is how we type out our form actions in SvelteKit. I hope that that has been helpful for you. Let's go play around a little bit more. Let's now put some default values in here. So if I say I'm Dave Johnson and I submit, you'll see what's coming back is that object with a type of fail. And we're just spitting that out here at the bottom. I've got a div, and if form, then stringify that whole form and just spit it out on the screen. And up here, I also have an additional check. So if I choose the old AF option here in my age range and submit, you'll see that I have some conditional rendering that just says, nice try, boomer. So that's pretty cool and that's fun. That was a good time. But I want to show you guys one other thing here that's super important, and that is the use enhance. And what use enhance does, it's a way of enhancing our forms even more. The way that I look at this is this way. If I'm creating an application, I am assuming that my users are going to have JavaScript enabled. If you don't have JavaScript enabled, then in today's day and age, that's just too bad. I know that there's a lot of people that say, well, you'd be surprised at how many people don't have JavaScript enabled. And I would say, well, then they need to get with the times, because JavaScript is what makes the web go around. So if you wanted to create some sort of a default landing page or something of that nature that just says, hey, in order to make use of this application, you need to have JavaScript enabled, then go ahead and do that. But as far as making all kinds of really detailed tweaks to my application to try to come up with a solution for every scenario where someone might not have JavaScript enabled, I simply don't feel like that's worth the time. Comment below with what your thoughts are on that. But with that, the next thing I want to talk about is something called use enhance. And this is just a property that we put on our opening form element, just like this, use : enhance. And then we need to import that. So in our script tag, we just say import enhance from, this is a $app/forms, like that. And if I save this now, if you leave it just like this, then what it does out of the box, let me just get rid of the parameters there and refresh this page and put together some values here. And if I submit, you'll see that the form still goes through, the value comes back, but there's no longer a full page reload happening. So that's pretty sweet. That allows us to quickly and easily remove that full page reload by just putting use enhance. But that's not all. We actually can further enhance our forms. You have this when you have the use enhance in your application by going use enhance, and then we're going to make this equal to some brackets, and inside of here a function, an anonymous function, just like that. And this function has available to it 4 things: the form itself, the data from the form, the action itself, and a cancel function. So inside of our brackets, we can now do whatever it is you want to do. In my backend, I previously was checking if the value of age is old AF or if the name is equal to Dave. Well, you can do those sorts of checks in JavaScript right here in the front before the form ever submits. So let's just do that here. What that would look like would be if data.get, and then we just put whatever value in wrapped in strings. This is equal to the name of the input in your form. You have access to all of them. It just pulls the value of that out. Super sweet, nice, and straightforward. So if that's equal to Dave, then we can make use of this built-in function called cancel and just cancel. Just like that. So if I give this a save and I run this now, let me first clear it out. Actually, I'll just refresh. I'll refresh that out, and now we'll put in Dave, and if I hit submit, you'll see nothing happens. There's no reload because we're using enhance, and there's also no values coming back because the JavaScript is in that enhance is actually doing that check, and because it's Dave, we're running that cancel function, and that's it. It's canceled. The form action no longer triggers all the way. There is so much more that you can do with this. I will link to the documentation in the description of this video. I just wanted to cover the types as requested, and I also wanted to show you guys the use enhance. Super helpful. I hope that you guys have found this video helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe. Comment below with your thoughts. Do you guys make changes in your applications for those who are not running JavaScript? I don't. Let me know below. Take care, and as always, have a great day.